Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So the next presentation is Sugarizer and Android, and kind of the next, what is the next XO? Lionel, do you want to take it away and introduce yourselves?
Yeah. Yes. I think everyone already know me, but I'm Lionel Lasky. I'm from OLPC France. I'm the co-founder of OLPC France. We have two deployments, one in Madagascar and one other in France. And I'm a long-time contributor on Sugar. And by the way, I'm also a member of all Sugar Labs Oversight Board. Michael?
Yep. So hi everyone, I'm Michael. So I did the GSOC last year with Lionel. So I worked on Sugarizer, and this year I've been mentoring an Android project for Sugarizer also. So we are going to show you what has been done and what are the next steps.
Okay. So let me share my screen. I've got a bunch of slides. Okay. Everyone could see my screen?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So our session is about the next XO and more specifically about Sugarizer and how with Sugarizer and the work we've done specifically with Michael, we could use an Android tablet like XO. So first, why we need to ask the question about the next XO? First, because when we have some deployment and we have currently, as I said previously, two deployment with XO1 and XO1 1.5 in Madagascar and XO4 in Saint-Ouen near Paris. And of course, the question is what we could know by if we want to expand the number of device. And unfortunately, the answer can't be an XO. Because first, the XO is at the end of its life. As you know, when I'm preparing this talk, I've seen that the XO4 is already 3 year old, so it's already an old device, and we know that there will not be XO5. So XO4 is the last XO. Today, the pricing of the XO4 is not competitive. You could buy Chromebooks for less than $200, near $150, and of course it's very complex to buy XO. The XO is sold only by PC Association. We need to buy more than 1,000 or some sort of quantity of number, so it's very complex to buy an XO today. Another reason why the XO why we need to talk about the next XO is that uh, today in education, the preferred device is not a laptop, is more tablets. Uh, there is a lot of study that show that most people today in education thinks to tablet before thinking to laptop. I show you here two study from US and UK, but in France it's exactly the same. And today in schools in France, the device that people buy is tablets. So what we could do? What is the next XO? Uh, as you know, from 3 years now, I'm working on Sugarizer. Sugarizer is a port of like a port of Sugar in HTML and JavaScript technology. So Sugarizer work on any browser, on any computer, and of course on any tablet. it's why I think it could be a good idea to think like that Sugarizer could be used for the next XO. Let me show you first what's the current version of Sugarizer. Sugarizer is now on version 1.7, and the next version is 1.8. I'm currently packaging this version, so we could expect that the release could be before the end of the year. In this new version, we could find new activities, specifically Speak, the famous Speak, specifically Moon. Once again, it's the famous Moon that you know on Sugar, and two new activities, shared notes activities. I will show you in a few minutes what is it, and a video activity that I will show you in a few minutes too. Sugarizer will come on a new platform, so it will be available now before the end of the year in Windows 10. So in the Windows 10 store, so it will be available on the Play Store, on the Apple Store, on the Chrome Store, and on the Windows Store too. So it will work and could be deployed easily on any Windows 10 device, both on computer and on mobile, even if a mobile phone with Windows 10 is not exactly the most famous, the most popular platform. We work hard on Sugarizer, not only on visible things like activities and platform, but also on invisible things like performance. So I will show you, but there is something like lazy loading. So we don't load data if we don't need it. There is a lot of script optimization. In short, we reduce size of JavaScript, so we improve mathematically performance, because JavaScript is an interpreted language. So when you reduce the size of the source code, you increase the performance of the script. We work too on better touch support. Specifically, it was complex to use the long touch. Long touch is used when you want to display a pop-up menu. You need to what we used with the right click on a mouse and on a touch screen. You need to long touch, and it was not very easy previously, and I've improved the touch support, and a new home view, an adaptive home view. I will show you just in the demo just now. Okay, so let me show you the demo. Yeah. Okay. So this is Sugarizer. So you could see the new activity Moon. Let's launch Moon. Okay, it's exactly the same that the Moon version of in Sugar. You could display that. You could change the face of the Moon together. You've got a lot of information about surface visibility, next lunation, next full moon, next new moon, etc., etc. So I need to mention that the Moon activities was written in JavaScript by a student. Unfortunately, I've not this name in mind, but I will find it because it's important to mention him. So the Moon activity is by Cherche Zibou, and the Speak activity is by another student named Vishal Bachu. So let's go back to the demo. You could see also put the image in the journal. So if you click it and go to the journal, you get the image of your activity. Oops, no, here. Well, that's what I want. So it was the moon activity. We've got no speak activity. Once again. Okay. It's what expected. Oh, hello. Like in the sugar version, you could change the age number, put some glasses. You've got support for about 20 language, so in French, in English, in Spanish, in a lot of things. And you could reduce or increase the weight and the pitch of the talk. So it's speak activity. A new activity is a shared note activity. Oh, I will launch a new to show you. So basically, it's a way to share note, post it with other guy. So to do a demo, for example, I could put another post-it here. Oops. And one. And that's so I got some way to increase or decrease or display or something like that. And of course, it's possible to share the activity here. So Michael, it's where I need to.
Yeah,
where I need you.
Yeah, but
So,
you haven't deployed the latest version on the server, so I can't join you. You're
oh,
using it locally, so
okay.
so
Okay.
maybe go and open a new window in private browsing.
Okay, okay. So it doesn't mind. So the idea of the activity is to share post-it between in a classroom. In fact, the idea of the activity was it was an idea from a teacher in our French deployment that asked me, "Oh, it will be cool if we could share some post-it and work together and brainstorm together." So it's exactly what this activity is could do. And finally, a new activity is video activity. You already know this activity because it's just a video viewer, and there was a video viewer from Khan Academy video in the previous version, but this time the activity is a generic activity, so you could switch the library. So here it's the Khan Academy. We've got here another video, French video from the French education, where you could play. And okay, that was fun video about some. Here it's about how to write some for some French. And what is fun is that you could also add your own library. So here I've described a new library of video used from taken from Internet Archive. So if I pick this URL and put it here, okay, yep, I've got a new available library, and if I click it, it will pick a video from the Internet Archive. Okay. It's free video from Internet Archive. Okay. Okay, it's what is the next version of Sugarizer. Some other thing that I could show you is the adaptive view. So if I reduce the size first, you got the spiral of activity. If I continue to reduce, you've got now a ring with a possibility to switch. And if I reduce more and more. Okay, you could scroll into activities with that. I must confess that it's an idea that I'm taken from the Samsung Watch Gear S2 watch. Okay, what I could show you, yes, I speak about optimization. You could see it in the journal. I've got a lot of entries in this journal. If I'm scrolling up here, you see that he'll load the next 10 or 12, I don't remember. Okay, so it's a way to optimize memory and optimize performance. Okay, everything is loaded now. Okay, any question regarding this? No, maybe we could let question for the end of the talk. Okay, okay, just okay. It's fun, but we could do better things with Android, and it's the time for Michael to explain what we've done on Sugarizer on the Android version. Michael? Michael? Oh, we lost Michael?
Your mic is muted.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just starting
Okay.
to share. Yeah.
Okay.
Documents. So got too many browsers open with them. So I'm going to talk about Sugarizer OS. So as Lionel said, we have two major deployments in France, in the French OLPC. So one in France and one in Madagascar. And Lionel started to see that in France, many schools were buying tablets, even without having an idea of how to use them. And the first thing they could do was to install the classic Sugarizer. So it basically has the same functionality as an Android app and as the other web application. But we wanted to have a full Sugar experience on an Android device. So Sugarizer OS, it's a way to have a full Android tablet running on Sugarizer. So the first thing is Sugarizer as an Android launcher. I'm going to show you all of these features just after finishing the slide. So the first thing is to get an Android launcher. So that means that when you hit the home button, you get the Sugarizer screen and you're not going to go to the standard Android launcher. So the second thing is to have access to all the Android apps that you've installed on your phone or tablet. So this is pretty important for us because there are many different Android applications which are really great, and we wanted to have the ability to run them in Sugarizer. We didn't want the children to have to go back to the standard Android launcher and go to another app. This is pretty straightforward. So the Android apps, they are logged into the journal, so you can see which app you just ran and go back to the app. And the latest thing is the Wi-Fi management. So you don't have to go to the standard Android settings. You can just stay in Sugarizer and go to connect to a Wi-Fi. So I'm going to share my tablet screen. Okay, so now it should be working. Is it okay for you?
Yes.
So it's running on a Nexus 7, and here you can see that my tablet is locked. So just going to unlock it, and I'm directly going to Sugarizer. So I can hit the home button. I will stay on Sugarizer. So I've got all the same features as Lionel told you. So there is the spiral and all the and all the sugar activities. So on the bottom, you can see a colored icon. This is J'ai compris. It's a French, it's an Android app made by a great French guy, and going to click on it, and it will launch a native Android application straight from the Sugarizer launcher. So, yeah, I'm not going to play J'ai compris, but you've got the idea. So you can access the native application. You can also see them onto the activities list. So going to scroll a bit and under the Sugarizer activities, you can see all the native activities. So you can do some search filtering. So if I'm looking for J'ai compris, you can see it. So you can pin the native application onto the launcher as I did. So here is J'ai compris. And you can get to, so yeah, just going to mouse. Okay, so I just put it on full screen, and you should be able to see with the Wi-Fi. I don't know. Yeah, this is the dev environment. So here you should be able to see the Wi-Fi, but just start. I'm working on it, so not working, but it's the same view as on the Sugarizer web. So you can see the server and you can see the Wi-Fi access point, and just click on them. And the latest thing is, so if I go to the settings, there are two new entries. So the first one is Android settings. So if I click on it, I can open the Android settings and do whatever I want. And the other entry is to switch launcher up. So I could just choose to go back to the standard Android launcher. So you can also do that in many different tablets. On just going to show you. So this is a native Android launcher. So just launching the Cordova application. So there is the two native launcher I have plus the Sugarizer. So as I'm on the dev environment, there isn't a good icon of Sugarizer, but you get the idea. So
okay, I'm sad that you can't show us the Wi-Fi screen, but I promise that it works.
Yeah, I was that's pretty bad because it was working on the latest hour and I was working on it, and just right now, of course, it doesn't work. But
okay, could you say us a word about Sugarizer OS, Von's Sugarizer, and about the code? What you've done to transform Sugarizer into Sugarizer OS?
Yep. So as it's based on Cordova, so all the mobile application or tablet application for iOS and Android were based on Cordova, and it was not so hard, but there was some tricky stuff to create some custom plugin and to say, okay, so now my app is going to be a native application. Who's done the GSOC, did some great exploration. So he had some struggles with starting to say, he had some problems just doing a simple activity on Cordova to say, okay, this is a launcher. But after that, once the activity is declared as a launcher, it's pretty simple to just say, okay, we are in launcher and we've done a layer to say we are in Sugarizer OS. So for now, it's a Cordova plugin and it's working on Android, but we can do the same thing on other OS because it's just some JavaScript interface which is calling some native script. So
okay, so basically, the Sugarizer OS is the same code that Sugarizer.
Yep, it's the same code. It's just adding some functionality. So in Sugarizer, there is just some checks to see if we are running onto Sugarizer OS. And if we are running on Sugarizer OS, we get the native application and many different things, but it's the same code. So you get the same activities, you can do the same activities using the collaboration mode, and you can just connect many different applications, and this Sugarizer OS application can connect to the same collaboration server.
Okay.
So it's the same application,
Okay.
just adding some features if you are running on Android.
Okay, cool. Okay. Thanks, Michael. I will go back to the slide. Let me share my screen another time. Oops. Not here. Oops. Okay. Yep. Okay. So Sugarizer is a first step, but we've got a huge ambition here in France that we want to create the best platform for deployment of learning devices in a school. So as Michael mentioned, we've got a deployment here in France, and this deployment has chosen to use an Android tablet. So we want to stay with these guys and say them we have a solution to run something like the XO, but on Android tablet. So what we want to create is a bundle of a multi-device learning platform, Sugarizer and Sugarizer OS specifically for Android, and a server tool to manage and handle deployment. I'm going to explain exactly what I mean by this management tool. So what's next here is first to improve the client, because we want to have a server. So we want to have a true logging system to authenticate and synchronize user content. So one user can use first Sugarizer on this tablet, but and when he is at home, he could use Sugarizer from a laptop or a computer. So we need a way to synchronize this content and to do a real system to do that. We want to add instrumentation on activity usage. I guess you've got a talk on the tools already existing in the Sugar community to analyze the way that users use activities and how many times each activity is used. It's something very important for a deployment, and we want to add this instrumentation into Sugarizer. It's on the way, and we are working with Michael on that. Another important thing is to have a centralized dashboard to access to statistics, which activities are used, how many times, what was the last time we seen a user, what is in the journal. We want to provide a way for teacher to access directly the journal from any user connected to the server. It's the sort of feature we would like to add to Sugarizer and to the Sugarizer server. And finally, we need a deployment tool. It's not easy to deploy a big number of XO. You need an USB key, and you need to flash each device. It's the same issue and the same problem with Android tablet. So we are working on a way to do automatic a flashing tool to set up a new device. So you buy a new device, you plug your Android tablet on a PC, and automatically it will install Sugarizer OS and all APK, all Android activity that you want to be on this tablet. And of course, for the same reason, we want to provide a local application store. And it's important to mention that we want a local application store, because today it's a real problem in French school like in other school. But in France, not all schools have internet access. So we want to provide a way to locally store Android activity and a way for tablet to directly download new activities, new Android activity from the local server. It's not only a dream. We have a first step in few weeks and few months. We have, as I said, a deployment in Saint-Ouen, and we just signed an engagement with them to provide 25 tablet and Android tablet and put Sugarizer OS on it and try to and deploy it and test so they could use it during the school beginning in December and until the end of the scholar year. So it's a big challenge, but it's what we want to do and what we expect to do with Sugarizer and Sugarizer server. Okay, so it's the end of our talk. I guess we are in time, so we have some time for question and answer.
You'd be able to just shout and.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Show your. All right. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for your presentation. I'm Michael. I'm Cosimo. I just wanted to know if you have a version. So you mentioned that this can be downloaded from the Play Store, the App Store for iOS. I actually just downloaded it.
Yeah.
Do you also have like a version that can run on a regular like Linux PC? I don't know, like through Electron or something like that, or is this just for tablets and mobile devices?
You could run it on a PC. In fact, it's just HTML and JavaScript. So if you use the Git repository and download it from the Git repository, you could run it on any device, including Linux and PC.
Yeah, or you can use the web-hosted version, which is hosted on Sugarizer.org.
Of course, you could also. But if you want to run it locally, you could do it and put it on your device directly from the Git repository or from the source code.
Yeah, so talking about that, I just wrote some Docker Compose script.
Yeah.
So you can Sugarizer and the collaboration server running in a few minutes. So if you go to the GitHub repo, you should see going just to share it.
Yes, if you are familiar with Docker, it's really cool that.
Yeah, and
Michael.
even if you're not familiar with Docker, you should be able to run it. So depending on your OS, you just need to get Docker, and if you're running it on Mac or Windows, you should also already get another binary which is called Docker Compose. And after that, you just need to pull the repo and just type Docker Compose up -d, and everything will be up and running. So pretty simple once you have Docker.
Thank you.
Lionel, this is Tony.
Yeah.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Is there provision in this version of Sugarizer to support access to a school server? Do you have a browser in the Sugarizer?
A school server. What do you call a school server?
School server is a server that I go to get wiki content or good workbooks or these kinds of things.
Yes.
So it means I have to be able to execute a URL to a local
exactly.
device.
Yes, it's possible, of course.
So you have a server that's, when you're running Sugarizer as the system, it has a Sugar Activity that's a browser.
You have not in Sugarizer browser activity, but on Android you could use only the Chrome browser and it works.
Okay, so you're running a browser as an app under Android through Sugar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Questions from IRC. with app stores, there need to be dedicated contacts who have access to add apps and upload new ones. How is this managed for Sugarizer and other open source projects?
I'm not sure to understand the question. It's about App Store, but what? Michael, did you?
So yeah, you were quite too far for me to
Yeah.
just understand
Yes,
the question.
that's the problem. Please, Aaron, could you repeat the question?
Sure. With app stores, there needs to be a dedicated contacts, owners of the apps, who can upload new ones. How is this managed for Sugarizer and other open source projects?
I didn't really got the question, but
Okay,
so,
I guess the question is about the App Store included.
Repository, right?
About the App Store included in the Sugarizer server. So
who uploads new Sugarizer apps?
okay, so it's Lionel, and so there are two things on Android. You can just get the APK and install it without having to get a device which requires some Google Play services and many things like this. But if you are using the Google Play Store or the App Store on iOS, you just can get the version which has been uploaded by Lionel. So for now, he is responsible for the deployment on the stores.
Yeah.
So hey, this is Samir. I have a related question. So the APK that you have that's in the App Store, or if you get the APK otherwise, that gets you Sugarizer with all the activities that are default, right? The 10 or 12 or 15 activities that you have.
Yeah.
Once you have Sugarizer running, is there a mechanism to add new activities like we do in the classic Sugar, which is you would go to the activities.sugarlabs.org and just click on the activity and download it? What is the mechanism to add new activities once you have Sugarizer on your device?
Okay. Today no. And we are talking about that with Michael, and I guess the best solution is to update the APK itself. So when we release a new Sugarizer version with new activity and new Sugar activity inside, the best solution is to update, eventually automatically update the APK of Sugarizer to include new content.
But in that case, you are building the APK, right? So you are determining what activities get updated. But let's say I wanted to go in there and I say, I want to remove like 3 of these activities and put these 2 other activities as a user. Is there a framework or a mechanism to do that as yet?
Not today, no.
Okay.
No. After that, we can mention that Lionel has been doing some work to. So if you upgrade Sugarizer, you get all your data saved and preserved, of course. Right. You don't lose your activities and journal if you do some upgrades.
Yeah.
Okay.
And is there any way to share activities with Sugarizer OS?
Share activity is the same way that in Sugarizer. So you've got the netboard view where you could. It's what I've asked to Michael, but it doesn't work.
maybe we can show it on the production server right now if you want. So maybe you can do some paint or anything. So I'm just going to share my screen.
Share your screen. Share your screen. Yes.
So it should be this. Yeah, I think it's the correct window. So right now I'm using server.sugarizer.org. So if I go to the neighborhood view, I can see the server on the right. Just going to full screen the window, and Lionel just showed up. Oh, no, not Lionel. So we've got some visitors.
Okay, sorry, I'm not on the server.
Okay.
I will. I'm on the server.
Here you are.
Oh,
Lionel.
lot of
So we are
people.
free. So just going to start a new paint activity. So going to do some. Okay, so I don't have any mouse, so this is pretty hard on my touchpad, and I'm going to share it. So right now you should be able to see on the neighborhood my session, and if you just leave the mouse or long click onto me on the icon just below me, you should be able to jump. So here I see Lionel. Don't know if Aaron you're going to join us, but so hey, hi, etc., etc. So this works on every Sugarizer device. So you don't need to have the Sugarizer OS. You can, in fact, you could be using the iOS version or the Sugarizer OS or Sugar on Android or in a web browser and everywhere. You just need to go to same web instance. So I see a lot of people here.
Yeah, yeah.
That's great. That's nice. So I think that answers the question. Nice. Cool.
My question is, you mentioned that you're planning to do analysis, and so is there any code already available on GitHub or somewhere, or
No,
you're just
no.
starting out on this?
No, we don't have code today. In fact, we plan to work on it during the Google Summer of Code, but unfortunately, we don't have enough token and enough student to work on it. So it's a work that we need to do, me and Michael.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have many discussions about how to get trackings, but respect the privacy and be also able to see if the stats are from this specific deployment or not. So that's a pretty hard question, in fact, to have some trackings in open software. And just so basically, we just stated about do it on opt-in and just, of course, don't measure things without the user agreement. But how to keep the data, we thought just to store the stats on the local server of the school. Don't move up to another server. And that's a great question.
Yeah, I think we'll also have a discussion later this afternoon about this.
Yeah, cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's Tony again.
Yeah.
Is there a plan to put together a document similar to the making your own sugar activity to explain to us how to build an activity that runs under Sugarizer?
Michael?
Yeah. So basically, that's what I asked Lionel last year, how to get starting using Sugarizer, how to build an application. So I think it's on the repo. So basically, the first thing you need to know is that you can create a Sugarizer activity and get it running on every Sugarizer device and on the XO. And there are some samples on the GitHub.
Yeah.
So yeah, on the README section, you should get the information.
Yeah.
So for the Sugar Web activities, you need to import certain JavaScript libraries pre-built in order to make it work.
Yep.
So I assume you have a similar requirement.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's the issue of how do you do animation and those kind of things to make what is typical activity.
Yes. In the Sugarizer package, you will find an activity named activity template. You just have to copy this template. And if you do that, you have already running Sugarizer and Sugar Web activity. If you need to use some other library to do some sort of animation or some sort of handling or graphic handling, etc., you have to import yourself your JavaScript activity. So there is no specific JavaScript framework need to write Sugarizer activity. The framework is really very simple, and you have only few JavaScript files to import.
Yep. And it works when you write an activity for Sugarizer. It works even without running the whole Sugarizer environment. You just won't be able to access to the ISO color or the name of the child, but you can run it a part of the Sugarizer environment.
In the early days of computing, we used to say this is very flexible. And the meaning of that was you do it yourself.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Okay.
Any other questions?
I got one, maybe two. So the current Sugarizer code that's up on GitHub, if we were to clone it, and that's so you build it using Cordova, right?
Yeah.
And then you would assign the target as Android or iOS and so on.
Yeah.
So one, should we be able to clone it and build it, and will it build, or are there other things we need to do after we clone it on Cordova? And then the second is, I have a student who's working on some of this, which is why I'm interested, is to see if we can build it through Cordova, but for Ubuntu Touch as the target, as opposed to Android or iOS, because that's already there. To also see, because with Ubuntu 16.10, you have Unity 8 as a preview, and that brings Xmere and a bunch of other things in there. So it'd be interesting to see how this will build for that. Are you guys doing any work on that, or well, I guess we should talk about that offline as well, but if you can comment on that.
Michael, I let you talk about that. Ubuntu is your.
Yeah. So the first thing, so when you pull up the repo, you can just open the web, the index.html onto a web browser. It should work. So you don't really need to Cordova. Cordova is intended to build an app for the stores. So you can basically use it without Cordova at all. And for Ubuntu Touch, I don't know if there are some targets on Cordova to build on that platform, but even if there isn't a Cordova platform, you could just do a basic web application and embed all the JavaScript and CSS from Sugarizer and be able to get an app running on the Ubuntu Touch devices. And I don't remember the second question. So
I was going to ask you if any of you have already started to work on that.
I had the luck to try an Ubuntu Touch device, but I didn't started testing it. But I don't think that there will be some troubles running on it because
basically, Cordova is just a web view. So if you are able to write an Ubuntu Touch activity with a web view inside, it's over. You've got all you need to include Sugarizer into Ubuntu.
All the server or collaboration mode. If you are just building an app and you're not providing a server, it will work offline. You don't have to worry about that. So you should just be able to get an app which display a web view and just say, okay, load this page, and everything should work.
Okay. So
by the way, Samir, we're pleased to help your student on that, of course. So if you have any question or any specific issue with that, of course, don't hesitate to ask us.
So what I'll do is I'll follow up with both of you probably next week to at least get that process going. Because we have a specific interest to see if this will build for Ubuntu as a target platform on Cordova, because that is one of the options, switches available. And then, of course, kind of see what comes out at the other end, because now we have a way to test it on 16.10.
Okay.
We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
I have a question. Can we assume that master is always stable, or do you have a release strategy which says this is tested and stable, and then this master is for testing? Or how can we grab something from the repo that doesn't change and that works?
Lionel, or do you
Yes.
want to-
When I'm releasing a version, it's stable. So, but if you want to use the current repo, of course, you've got something that hopefully work, but with sometimes some issue.
But
So
Yeah, there is a category releases on GitHub, and you can grab the release out there.
yeah, of course, yeah.
So when you're on the front page of the repo, you should see releases, and here you go.
And what's the repo URL?
Yeah. So it's github.com/LLASKE, so Lionel SKE
Yeah,
slash.
but you could just access it from the sugarizer.org
Yeah,
URL.
of course, yeah.
It's
There is
easier.
.org.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sugarizer.org, then go to the repo.
Yeah, and you could get to the try now and the web hosted version of Sugarizer, so you can do some testings and
Yeah.
play with it.
Yeah.
Hi, this is a question for the president of the Sugarizer empire, or actually anybody else. But since OPC France was always very good about taking educators and anthropologists and these weirdo humanities people very seriously,
Yeah.
you have a vision for bringing them into your first deployments. Maybe there's a new way to do teacher's guides or something. If you had $1 million, tomorrow, would you have any inspiration for how would you bring the entire French public on board to embrace this, not in a technical sense, but in other marketing or,
Yes.
engagement, introductory materials, whatever?
Yes. We work with teacher, of course, and the first deployment that we talked about is done with some teacher. So we have no documentation today, but of course our ambition is to provide a technical package, but also documentation to how to use it and how to include it in the school. But I don't have $1 million, unfortunately. So we need to work with volunteer, and of course, as you know, it's not so easy. So if someone is interested to join us or to deploy it or to test it, of course, it's cool. Yeah.
One related question to that, which is, the deployment that you just mentioned that you are planning on running using Sugarizer.
Yeah.
What specific hardware are you using for that? Have you decided, or?
Yes, probably Samsung tablet.
Okay, so it's a tablet, so no keyboard, just a tablet.
Yeah, just a tablet. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, in France, the government have bought so many tablets, just the tablets without keyboard, and they just don't know what to do with them. And so hopefully we have some great things to do to bring some great education apps and some great open source philosophy to these people. And for now, the school which is targeted, they have some Samsung Galaxy Tab S, I think, running on Android 5. So
Yeah.
to be,
Great.
This is not a $1 million question, but only maybe $64. What is your view going forward of the connection between this project and Sugar Labs?
Oh, yeah. Sugarizer is a product from Sugar Labs. Today, the current repo is on my account, but for in the next version is the 1.8. The repo will be in the Sugar Labs repo. So
Yeah.
it's a Sugar Labs product.
yeah, I think you just got the access recently, so
Yeah.
that's why.
Exactly.
You mean 0.8, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you told us 1.8 many times.
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
No, you can
No
release
problem.
both.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Great. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.